Sarr, Senesi, Caicedo, all out of game week 14. These are the best replacements. Welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are well. I know game week 13 was a big one with chips in play, but game week 14 being midweek sounds super fun. Cannot wait for it. So look, without further ado, let's have a look at some of the top replacements and kick off, I think, with Senesi, who's in a ton of teams. Guys, when we look at like mass ownership, Senesi is the 5th highest owned defender in the game. He's owned by 25% of FPL managers. Now, for some, he'll be a benching. You can bench him. He's only suspended for one game. It's a shame because you're benching him for Everton at home, but you can then bring him back and you can keep him. For others, you won't have good bench cover and you'll see him as a sell already because his fixtures massively are taking a turn for the worse. So you can see the fixture ticker here. This is pretty much the festive fixtures, right? Everton, Chelsea, like it's Man United, it's okay. Burnley, but then there's a couple of tough away games, Brentford, Chelsea, then it's Arsenal. And you look at Bournemouth and the way they're playing, you think, how many clean sheets are they keeping? They've just gone and conceded 3 to Sunderland, remember. Sunderland don't score a huge amount. So while Senesi's good, and I think you bench him if you can, for many, he'll be an immediate sell. Now, what you paid for Senesi might come into it. There's many out there that paid $4.5 million for him, and you might value him as your 4th defender, and therefore a benching is fine. But for those that paid $4.95 million for Senesi, he's probably your 3rd defender, and in that case, you can't be missing him for a game, knowing his fixtures are turning. Probably a replacement is on the cards if you have that luxury transfer available. Remember, most squads are hit with 2 flags this week. If you've got 2 flags and only 1 free transfer, you need to prioritize. But for many, they'll see Senesi as someone that needs to leave. Personally, I don't want to sell him. I might be forced into it. I do think he got good DEFCON fixtures, even when they're tough. He is still the best DEFCON defender in the game, but I am looking to take a -4 and move him on as I record this today. Paul Van Hecke is the cheap alternative for Senesi. He's 4.4 million. He's 1.5% owned. The fixtures are quite good, but Brighton have been keeping clean sheets. Like, look at his points in recent weeks. He's had a 7, a 5, and a 6 all in the last 4 game weeks. And we know he's a goal threat. He's who they look for at set pieces. He's a good player out the back, so he's often quite good for his passing stats and therefore his baseline bonus. He's all right for DEFCON, although you're not going to get it a huge amount with Brighton centre-backs. But nevertheless, if he's getting clean sheets at this money, you're happy. And most importantly, does he have a good fixture this week? Because if you're replacing Senesi, it's for someone in your 11, right? Aston Villa at home feels like a good fixture. Remember, Villa played Thursday night in Europe, right? They then played at the weekend, and then they're playing again Wednesday this week. You look at that, and it's 3 fixtures in 6 days for Villa. I think by Brighton or by going to Brighton, I think their 3rd game in 6 days, I think they're going to look quite tired. I really fancy Brighton in this football match. And the entry point there for Van Hecke is it's really good. West Ham at home's, again, really good fixture. It's 2 home games on the bounce for Brighton. And then, it's mixed. Liverpool, Sunderland, fine. But I look at the Brighton fixtures, and even when we look at the longer view, like, I think these are probably like pretty good. I hate saying clean sheets with Brighton because I've never associated Herzler teams with clean sheets. But actually, I see fair few clean sheets here. Like look at game week 19-20. Again, it's West Ham and Burnley. I've got West Ham twice in the next 6-7 games. So I do like Van Hecke. And he's someone, if I don't take a hit for a defender this week, I'll probably I could bring him in next week for, say, a Kilman. I've got Kilman in my side. Again, if we're looking at like bargain basement defenders, Van Hecke might be the pick of the sub 4.5 million guys. But let's look at the slightly sexier picks, because if you're selling Senesi, there's a good chance you've got 5 million to spend, or you've got maybe slightly more. But if you're looking around that 5 million price band, there are 2 standout picks for me. One of them is a Newcastle defender. Now, some of you might prefer a Lewis Hall or a Livramento. For me, I look at the Newcastle centre-backs, and I think Malik Chow and Dan Burn is the best partnership, and Chow is starting every game, and Burn starts every game. This is the centre-back partnership I think Howe wants to go with, which is a shame because we know Fabian Schär is a great option, or has been historically, but isn't now. And Malik Chow has been on the score sheet. Malik Chow is good for DEFCON. Malik Chow is fairly cheap at 4.9, but most importantly, why we're looking at Newcastle defenders, they have got outstanding fixtures coming up. They really have. Like, they're 4th here in the ticker, but the entry point, again, like Brighton, it's 2 home games. It's Tottenham at home and it's Burnley at home. They've also got West Ham at home in their next 4. So you look at 3 fixtures there, all very clean sheetable, especially at St James's Park. Certainly West Ham, Burnley, but the way Spurs are playing, I like that too for a clean sheet. Now, they conceded late to Everton, but a convincing display on the road against Everton. And maybe Newcastle are starting to show signs of like really good Newcastle again. Because we know when they're good, they're really good. And we haven't necessarily seen that early this season. But going to Everton and scoring 4, they're not great on the road, but we know they're good at home. Maybe we're seeing a really good Newcastle run coming up over the festive period. The fixes are definitely there. The centre-back pairing is there. The fullbacks now both back fit makes a big difference to the output of the team. And Malik Thiaw is a really good pickup. Some might prefer Dan Burn. I don't hate that either. Some might prefer Livramento or Hall. And I like the fullbacks and they're easier on the eye. But if we're looking at straight up FPL points, Livramento doesn't really get goals or assists, although he's a brilliant footballer, like so good for the team. Lewis Hall does get you some assists, but Malik Thiaw and Dan Burn are both going to get DEFCON every now and then, probably 40% of the time. They're both going to get goals, probably 4 or 5 a season, you would expect. I just feel like these are good long-term picks, the centre-backs at Newcastle. So Malik Thiaw I really like, but there is one that is probably the sexiest pick of the bunch, and he's the guy I'm most likely to buy. Guys, by the way, I would love you to hit that like button, and please do subscribe if you're new around here. Thank you, as always, for watching my content, and drop a comment below and let me know what replacements you like and what you're doing with Senesi. But I think the standout replacement for me, it's O'Reilly, isn't it? I think it's got to be O'Reilly. Like some might say, pet player rotation risk. Since game week 3, I think he started all but 1 Premier League football match. I know we worry. And I know a few weeks ago, I wasn't sure about O'Reilly. Aït-Nouri's going to AFCON. Aït-Nouri had a stinker versus Leverkusen and O'Reilly came on at half-time for him. O'Reilly is a young lad that's not had serious injuries. He's fit, and I think he can deal with this City fixture congestion. Now, I know it's tough. It's Fulham, Sunderland, Palace, West Ham. The games are coming thick and fast. They've got Real Madrid coming up, but they do have a midweek against Brentford in a couple of weeks' time. I think it's the 17th of December, the Wednesday night, EFL Cup semi-final. That's when he gets his rest. And the spacing between the Premier League fixtures for City is actually all right. The congestion isn't too bad. I look at it and go, he might miss 1 game over the busy run. Like if I look at all these City fixtures, I genuinely think we could be looking at Nico O'Reilly playing 6 of the 7. I really do think 6 of the 7. If we get that, we're surely going to get points. Now look at his expected goal involvement. That's the final column on the right-hand side. Against Leeds, over 1 expected goal involvement, 0.89 XG. But even like in the Newcastle game, like it's a third of an XGI. Like he 0.45 there against Bournemouth. Like for a defender, he's in such good positions. He is a number 8 by trade. He's a box-to-box midfielder. And yes, he's asked to play left back and he's solid defensively, but he's allowed to get into those attacking positions. He's often in the box. He's often around the box. He's got good assist rate. He's got good goal threat. He's someone they look for at set pieces alongside Diaz and Gvardiol. He's a big lad. He's a presence. And at 5.1 million and only 6.5% owned, I just think it's a really good opportunity to get on the City defence. And I know they've just conceded a couple of goals to Leeds, but they have got clean sheets in them, City. They have so much of the ball. They don't concede many chances. This is a really fun pick for me. And I like the Newcastle defence. And it's probably the sensible pick. A Malik Thiaw or a Dan Burn. I think Nico O'Reilly might just be the best of the bunch. Depends, of course, as always with these things, on your risk appetite. So that's our defender chat done. Let me know what you think. Now, we've got to get to our midfielders because there's 2 midfielders we got to replace, potentially. Caicedo, so we're shopping below 6 million. And then we're going to go Ismaila Sarr and we're going to shop in a sort of 6 to 8 million price band for Sarr, right? This is a good one. We've got 6 players here that I'm delighted to tell you more about. But first, just a word from our sponsor. If you haven't already heard of NordVPN, guys, it's the best VPN out there for sure. Like many of you already have NordVPN, and I've been a customer of NordVPN since March this year. Like 9 months after being a customer of theirs, I'm now one of their affiliates and doing a video like this, which is pretty cool. But guys, when I go on holiday, when I lived in Italy, using Nord was so good for me. Like I was able to watch my Sky, my TNT, BBC iPlayer, all of that by just getting on NordVPN and connecting to a server in the UK. Likewise, if you're in the UK and you're watching, 40% of you are, you might want to use your server to get to other countries and use the Netflix of the USA, for example. It's so cool. Check it out. 2-year deal with 4 months free on the 2-year plan and an unbelievable offer if you scan the QR code or click the link in the description. We'll keep it on screen. Let's talk Ismail Sarr. Glasner was quoted post-match. My mate James was at the game. I Sky Pod sometimes with James. He's a great Palace account to follow. After going off with an ankle injury in the first half, didn't look good. Came off early. Glasner has been quoted saying he might not play for us till AFCON now. Doesn't look good. He ain't going to play this week for sure. He's an immediate sell because of AFCON as well, remember. So if we're selling him, where do we go? Well, let's show you the sort of cheapest of the bunch if we're spending at 6, and we'll do cheap midfielders when we look at Caicedo. But if we're going at like 6.2 million, Minter is a legit option. Now, I own Minter, and I've owned Minter since I wildcarded in game week 7. And you can see the points I've got from him. I've had a 2-2, 5-9, 3-11, 3. Perfectly good returns. Good fixtures. They're winning games. They're scoring goals. I don't think many expected them to win back-to-back games versus Brentford and Forest. Like, Brentford and Forest are the teams around Brighton. With all due respect, like, they're the middling teams in the division, right? Mid-table teams. To go get back-to-back wins against Brentford and then go to the City ground. City are playing so well under Dyche and go and get the 2 goals. Like, they're looking very, very good. And Minter is their key man. He often is on the pitch till the 80th minute plus. We've seen a couple of early subs, and early for Minter is 81 and 88, but usually he gets 90 minutes. He's a proper goal threat. He's an assist threat. He got 2 assists again versus Brighton. I like Minter very much in this price band. I also like the fixtures. I think Villa are going to be super tired, as I mentioned earlier. Brighton are a good matchup for Villa this week. And then West Ham at home is a great matchup. I can absolutely see why you'd go and downgrade Sarr to a Minter and save a few pennies. But some might be looking to upgrade Sarr, and I completely get it. If you've got money in the bank, you might want to just make that decision. Now, the steady pick, the long-term sleeper pick at 7 million, if you've got the Arsenal spot available, and a lot do because they've sold Gabriel to a non-Arsenal defender, is Declan Rice. Now, I know this isn't a fun pick. Like, this feels like a boring pick. But Declan Rice has been such a good player this year. He is the 3rd highest owned midfielder in the game. I bet you wouldn't have thought that, would you? Rice is the 3rd most popular midfielder in the game. But this is the better stat for me. Rice has the 2nd most points from midfield of all players. So forget sexy for a minute. By the way, Minter has the 3rd. Yeah. The 3 best performing midfielders in the game this year are Semenyo, 76 points, Rice, 75, Minter, 64. And Bruno Guimaraes, who we're not going to speak about, but was also a good option, also at 64. I really like the Rice shout if you want the long-term hold. For me, it's the 90-minute appeal. It's the routes to points. 90-minute appeal. He gets DEFCON a lot, but the set pieces are unbelievable. Even with Gabriel out of the team, they're still going to score set-piece goals. And while Saka takes some of them, Rice's delivery is the best in the Arsenal camp by a country mile, the way he whips the ball in with pace. He also takes direct free kicks. His open play threat is often there. There's a lot to like about Declan Rice for the routes to points. We speak about Bruno Fernandes with routes to points, and rightly so. Bruno's the best at it. But Declan Rice isn't that far behind. And he's got more FPL points, by the way, than Bruno. He doesn't take the pens, but he plays for a better team. Again, the fixtures aren't bad for Arsenal, right? They're right there at the top of the ticker, 5th in the ticker. And again, the entry point allows you Brentford at home. And in 2 games' time after that, it's Wolves at home. 2 out of 3 very good home matches where the ceiling feels quite high for Declan Rice. So we like that. We like Rice. I don't necessarily think he's a me pick per se, because I, again, a bit like with the defender pick, like Nico O'Reilly was my favourite. With the midfield, we're going to go on a similar narrative. And I'm probably fairly predictable here. Now, if you're selling Sarr, you might only have 6.5 to spend. You might have 7. If you do have 8 million, I want to give you an option. Of course, if you've got 9 million, Bruno Fernandes is great, 8.9, whatever. But if you can stretch to Phil Foden. Phil Foden is a streaky, form-driven player. They say goals bring confidence, and it's such a cliche to say it, but Phil Foden is one of those players, a bit like a striker when they go on a scoring run. Foden does the same, and I feel like he is very much a confidence player. He is playing with complete swag at the moment, the swagger of a champion right now. The 2 goals versus Leeds, it could have been more. The 15-pointer was glorious. But before that, all those blanks, but ignore them. The 2-pointer, the 1-pointer, the 4-pointer, like, he wasn't good for points, but trust me, he was good for average position. Trust me, he was good for minutes. Trust me, he was good for the underlying data and even better for the eye test. Phil Foden has been playing brilliant football for the last couple of months. And I've been saying this, and I've been saying Foden's not a bad buy. Stop selling him, everyone. Foden's a good buy. But what's happened is loads of people bought Foden around wildcard game week 7, 8, and they've all sold him since. He's 6.5% owned right now. Proper differential. That's part of the attraction for me. Like, I want him lowly owned. And Fulham away might not be the best fixture because Fulham aren't, Fulham are quite good at the Cottage. I expect City to win, sure, but it could be quite tight. And we know at home, Man City are a different beast. Now, the home numbers for Man City are actually unbelievable. I was in the Scout members area this morning. For attack, they're the best attack in the league. So whilst we all have Haaland, should we be looking at other ways to complement that when they're the best attack in the league by some distance? So they are top for goals. They're top for big chances. They're top for expected goals. This is home and away in the league this season. Man City, top for goals, big chances, XG, and also shot accuracy. They hit the target with 59.5% of their shots. So again, they work the keeper because they got elite finishers like Haaland and Foden. I really fancy Foden. Pep has been quoted saying he wants to play him close to Haaland. He sees him as his closest player to Haaland, best position central areas. He said this on Sunday. This is music to our ears. Now, many of you go rotation risk. Guys, Foden started every Premier League game since game week 3. Of course, the fixture run's busy. He could miss a game. But you might start 6 and 7. You take that on the chin and you move on. There is the Real Madrid game, could be a distraction. But there's also that Brentford game I speak about on the 17th of December. That's when Foden gets his rest. Again, a bit like O'Reilly. He's fit. He's a young lad. I think he can play all these minutes. The spacing for Man City is fine. I look at these fixtures and I'm proper excited about owning Phil Foden. Fulham away, Sunderland at home, Palace away, West Ham at home is probably the pick of the bunch. West Ham at home in a few weeks, but then it does continue after that. Like, it's still good fixtures after that. They have got Chelsea, fine, but there's some great games. Let me just get a full picture because I'm squinting as I look at my screen for the fixtures after West Ham. Yeah, it's Forest on the road, Sunderland on the road, and then Chelsea at home, Brighton at home, Manchester Derby. These are all fine games. Like, Chelsea's the tough one, but whatever. So that's Foden. And guys, spoiler alert, I've bought Foden in this week. I went early. I went Sunday night. I said so in my team selection video. Excited by that. And he was my Sarr replacement. Caicedo, budget mids. Let's talk about it. Guys, by the way, thank you all for hitting the buttons. I've put I never have my mini league on show. My mini league is OAD0FX. If you want to come in and join my mini league, that'd be cool. Come have a go if you want to pit yourself against me. My rank at the moment is around 500k. It's been an all right season so far. But guys, yeah, appreciate you liking, subscribing, checking out NordVPN if you want to. Like, honestly, this isn't me trying to sell you a product. This is me saying I've literally been a customer of NordVPN for 9 months, and now only this week is my first time, doing a sponsorship with them. So yeah, delighted to have them on board. As always, it was me that approached them. Right. We've done enough on Foden. I could talk Foden all day. You guys know, if you've been following my content for years, I've got a soft spot to bring Phil Foden into my team. Now, Caicedo, 3-match ban. This is huge news. Like, for Chelsea fans especially, you're gutted. But then when you look at like Caicedo, he's been so good this season, and actually he's been so popular in FPL. I don't think he's a great own, because I think the goals we got early were never sustainable. But when you look at ownership of players, he's the 5th most owned midfielder in the game. He's 20% owned. So there's a lot shopping for replacements, and you've got to get rid. Now, similar sort of price band, saves you some money. 5.3 million. Elliot Anderson has been probably the standout value player in FPL in the last 3 weeks, because he's had a 6, a 9, and a 9. Like, how has he gone and got 24 points in 3 games when he's not actually done a huge amount in terms of goal involvements? He's had 1 goal, 1 assist, and he's at 24 points, but he gets DEFCON, he gets bonus points, he's had clean sheet points. The fixtures are good for Forest. Elliot Anderson is an awesome pick. He's so lowly owned. He's one of the best DEFCON midfielders in the game. If you're just getting DEFCON an appearance and you're getting 4 points a game from an Anderson, I think you should be happy. But the reality is you're getting more than 4. You're getting a cheeky bonus or a cheeky assist. He's on set pieces. We don't know if he's taking penalties for Forest. He took the last one, but we don't know if he'll take the next. Morgan Gibbs-White was off the pitch. Chris Wood was off the pitch. I think Igor Jesus was off the pitch when he took that penalty. But regardless, he's a really nice own. And Elliot Anderson should be considered in your FPL teams if you're shopping for a budget mid. I think he's definitely top 2 under 5.3 million. Dewsbury Hall, man. So good. Proper. I started the season with Dewsbury Hall and he had like a 13 pointer in game week 4 or 5, whenever it was, and I benched him. But a 7 and a 13 and a 9 in the last 3 weeks. Now, we shouldn't just look at last week's points. We should look at the way they're playing football. And he's so close to Barry as the 9. He's a number 10 who takes set pieces, who wins some DEFCON, who plays 90 minutes, and he's got a worldie in him. Dewsbury Hall's goal against Newcastle was the goal of the weekend. One of the goals of the season so far. The takedown, the finish just shows how confident he is. We're talking about Foden playing with swagger and Foden playing so close to Haaland in the 10. Well, Dewsbury Hall plays the same position. This is his preferred position. He's someone that's versatile. He can play number 8, but he wants to be close to the number 9, and he wants to be the main man, and it didn't quite work for him at Chelsea, but he was good when he played in the Conference League at Chelsea. But he's found his team at Everton. He's found his manager with Moyes. He's found his squad set up with creative players either side of him, like a Grealish and Ndai. He likes playing in this system, the 4-2-3-1. Dewsbury Hall is such a fun own now. And I think he might be the best budget pick in the game. He doesn't come with the high floor like an Elliot Anderson of the 4 pointers every week, but he does come with a higher ceiling, I would argue. Now, the fixtures for Everton aren't good. Like, the next few are difficult. But I would argue Everton can go and give anyone a game, and Everton can go and score goals against anyone. This Moyes team is quite fun, and I think Dewsbury Hall is a really nice pickup. Again, loads might be buying him. His ownership will skyrocket from 3%. Skyrocket might be steep, but it will increase from 3%. It has to. When you get those returns, you're playing the football he's playing. I really like him as a budget pick. So guys, they've been my top 3 replacements in each position. Hopefully you found this video useful. If you have, please show your love by subscribing and liking. Thanks guys, and I'll see you for a deadline stream on Tuesday afternoon.